Welcome back to Division I Rejects, episode 119. I'm your host, Kobe Manzo. Joined by, what do you got on? Subway Series?
Yeah,
That's an MLB shirt.
Got a little Yankees Mets going on here.
Oh, that's Gavin over in the chair. Explain your hat to the fans as well.
It is a San Antonio Missions hat. It's a AA affiliate of the Padres.
Yeah, he's decked out baseball tonight.
Yeah.
Any reason for that? Just cause?
No, just happened to happen.
Just happened to happen. Well, we're here for it. Tonight, we've got a great guest for you. That being Kory Curtis. He was a quarterback who shared a quarterback room with names such as Joe Burrow, J.T. Barrett, the late Dwayne Haskins. A lot of big-time names over there at Ohio State. He was with the Buckeyes, transferred down to Bryant, a Division I FCS program, and then we know him. You may say, hey, this is Division I rejects, not Division I quarterbacks. He went to Gannon University in the PSAC, absolutely balled out for the Knights. That's a Division II squad over in Erie, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk to him all about his current situation, trying to find a roster spot, whether that be XFL, USFL, NFL. The dude's 6'4", 235. You'll find out he's a very cerebral player. He's got arm talent out the ass. Kind of hard to imagine he doesn't find somewhere to land, to be honest with you. Yeah. But excited to talk to Kory. If you're here for that conversation on YouTube, use the timestamps, bottom of the screen. Drag yourself over to that conversation. Get the hell out of here. Otherwise, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. I was out of breath because I was saying it so fast. The timestamps be listed in the bottom of the episode as well, so fast forward to any portion you'd like to listen to. But otherwise today, we got more than just Kory. We got D2 players making waves in the NFL preseason. Preseason games continuing. A lot of D2 guys. We'll check out some clips here later. Making some really big plays. Always excited to see that from our perspective. We've got reactions to other, overreactions to other week one preseason stuff. How the rookie quarterbacks played. How maybe some Lions guys did some big draft picks. Are they busts? Are they dogs? There's literally no in between. We're going to talk about the new Blindside beef from Michael Oher. And the movie that I think tricked a lot of people.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of people. Tricked me.
Tricked me. Had me fooled a little bit. More than a little bit. But we're going to talk about that beef and the legal action that is being taken by Michael Oher, the star of that football classic. Finally, some NFL free agent running backs finding new homes. Dalvin Cook to the Jets. Zeke to the Patriots. His last play as a Cowboy, snapping and then getting plowed into the turf. A lot of great stuff tonight. Like I said, as always, watch it on YouTube. Don't forget the timestamps. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit us up on the socials. And let's get right into that first conversation with Kory Curtis. Joining the show tonight, a man who shared a quarterback room with some wild names, Joe Burrow, J.T. Barrett, the late Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. We know him, though, from his time at Gannon University. He was slinging that thing in the PSAC. He dominated for the Knights. His name is Kory Curtis. Kory, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How about you? Thanks for having me on.
Doing all right. I didn't build any barn doors today, but still had a pretty eventful day, I think.
Sounds good. Yeah, I had a crazy day.
Is that like just like a summer gig for you, or is you said helping out the wife, or what?
Yeah, I was just helping out her family. It hasn't been done in a little bit. It was just dry rotting out the bottom, so I decided to help them.
Hey, all-around guy. You are an all-around player, though. You were the quarterback, obviously, but then I'm reading, and punter moves home to Australia when you're at Gannon, and you just fill in, start booting balls, even kick some extra points, too.
Yeah, I had a good time with it. I had fun doing whatever I can do to help.
Were you just a punt, pass, and kick kid growing up, or how the hell do you just walk into that?
Yeah, so I did that, and that's how I traveled out of Ohio State. I was one of the backup punters, so.
Really?
Yeah, so it was something that I've always been kind of good at, and something. There was a quarterback in our area before me, and he was quarterback, and he punted. He went to Virginia, and so I kind of like emulated myself. Ben Kurt, he played for the Packers. Yeah. So kind of did like the same type of thing as him, just worked on it, and I was decent at it.
Man, hey, whatever gets you on the bus, right? That's pretty sweet. I don't really hear about that a whole lot, but I guess right off the top, man, what's the latest with you? I saw you working at what was it called, the Grids Camp yesterday, just trying to find different opportunities to go out and just show your stuff.
Yeah, it was a good camp. Went out there. It was one of the first camps where like we did like 7-on-7 and stuff like that, and that's like where I'm able to show what I'm good at. One of the coaches like was for the New Orleans team was he was like, hey, just hit this comeback out here, and I was like, hey, coach, they're in zone. Like I'm gonna hit the middle read right here, the middle triangle. And he was like, I didn't even know you knew like about that like type of stuff, and I was that's like I'm thankful to be able to showcase that like I'm smart about football. And now I'm actually on his radar, and he likes me. So
good.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, 6'4", 235, and decent brain, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just, again, I do my little research. I'm looking at stats. I'm like, shit, like those two numbers alone, you would think would be enough to just like get your foot in the door. And then on top of that, show off the arm talent. And, you know, here we are. We learned that the kid's actually, he's smart and he's a cerebral player too. You would think that that's enough to at least get your name in a couple people's, you know, places.
Yeah, I just need an opportunity. I had one coming out of the draft. My agent told me to wait on it, and they ended up signing somebody else. So like a missed opportunity, waiting for another opportunity.
I got you.
It is what it is.
Yeah, tough. And hindsight's always 20/20, right? So you never know when you're in that situation what's going to go on. But talk about there's a lot of guys just like you in this same situation looking for opportunities. What is it like this time of year, especially as teams are all in training camp and preseason and moving forward? What is this time of year like for guys in that spot?
Yeah, so it's tough. It's the first time in my life where everybody else is playing football and I'm not.
Yep.
And it's frustrating for sure, especially when you know you can do it and you don't want to be like a hater and like, but I want everybody to do good, but like it's still like frustrating. Like, man, you know, I can go out there and do that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like especially with all the guys I've been training with in Florida, like Mike White, he's playing for the Dolphins. Chris Oladequin, he's the other quarterback playing for the Chiefs. MVS, I mean. Yeah. There's all the guys we're training with, all 30 of us. I'm 29 are playing in the NFL in the preseason games, and I'm the only one that's not.
You're kidding.
So it's just frustrating, but it is what it is, you know. I just got to keep working and waiting on my opportunity.
Mike White had a streak there a couple weeks last year. He might have been the face of the damn league for about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, he deserves it. I mean, he's a great guy. He can sling the rock.
Hell yeah, he can. He was dealing, man. But how about your journey to Gannon? Like we talked about in the intro, you started as a walk-on at Ohio State, out of Florida. You had a decent amount of offers, but chose ultimately to go to the Buckeyes. Transferred to Bryant, actually, before making your way to Gannon. I didn't know there was that middle point in between. And then you ended up in Pennsylvania, which, first of all, how does the Florida kid get used to the weather up there in Erie?
Yeah, it was awful. I just basically stayed inside and watched movies. So it was like one of those things I try to get used to it.
Yeah. When you weren't watching movies, you were throwing touchdowns. You had 27 of them your senior year, 4 interceptions. It's a pretty fucking good ratio. A lot of yards on top of that. But, you know, talk about that senior year. You were there for 2, 3. 2 or 3?
2.
It was 2. Okay. You were there for 2. You got even better, and you know, the record got better, right? You guys had that upset against IUP. You won some really big time games. You finished around 8-3 that year.
Mm-hmm.
Put that school on the map. And not to say they haven't been a great football team in the past, but in recent history, it's, you know, success has been hard to find over there.
Yeah, for sure. The first year was definitely like a learning curve. It was like the first time I've ever been to a team that didn't have like a tradition. Okay. So like. I think that was like part of my journey, part of like why God put me on that path is like to help try to like learn how to build, how to like instill traditions and instill good values and everything like that in the people around me. So like, I think that's something that like my head coach there, Coach Rayburn, he allowed me to do that. Helped allow me to lead workouts. Let me call my plays. Like he let me call the offense my senior year.
Wow.
He just believed in me in every aspect of the game. And so I think that helped the team could get behind me and rally behind me. And I think that allowed me to realize that, like, hey, these guys got my back too. Like, it's not my first year. I was definitely a little bit trying to do everything, do a little bit too much. And then I got comfortable my senior year, and we put together something special. We fell a little bit short, but we had something there.
Yeah, man, 100%. And, you know, the calling your own plays piece, I don't think people realize that, like, how rare that is, like, at any level of football. You know, even in the NFL, you pay offensive coordinators and play callers a hell of a lot of money to do that. And yes, there's a lot of players at that level that can certainly do that and command a drive. They have to in certain points in the game. But Division I, Division II especially, I would wager that you were probably one of the, if not the only dude, doing that on a consistent basis. But cerebral guy, huh? We know that now.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like making audibles. Like literally, we'd get a formation. Like,
sure.
Like that's what like a lot of the coaches I was talking to were like. He was like, "Oh, well, you just made audibles." I was like, "No, sir." Like, he'd give me a formation, and like I would have to pull out. Okay, we got 3rd and short. They're probably going to bring Sam edge off the pressure off to the bound or to the field and all those type of stuff, and just call it like pin and pull or to the boundary, something like that. So literally everything. Yeah. But my head coach, he prepared me for it, and he did a great job doing all that.
I love that, man. Talk about, at least just curious, because you go and you hit these like tiers as far as the divisions go football wise, moving down. How drastic of a difference in play did you notice going from OSU to a Bryant and then from Bryant to a Gannon, making those adjustments mentally and like schematically and also just with the athletes that you're around?
Yeah. So I was at Bryant for like the COVID semester. So like I didn't even like, I played in 2 or 3 games.
Yep.
I transferred in late. The talent there was obviously decent, but I think I know the talent in the PSAC was better than the who we were playing at the FCS level, which is crazy to say because it's D2 and D1. But the IUP, Slippery Rock, Cal, like those teams beat most of the teams that we were playing.
Damn. Okay.
Shepherd. So the talent. Also, they're a little bit bigger actually. So like the drop off is really just O-line, D-line. But like at Gannon, our O-line, D-line was bigger than our at Bryant. The depth was way better.
Yep.
Obviously at the FCS level. And then I had some great receivers, like honestly, around me. Like they made it easy.
I love that. And I think that is the main point. People usually, because everyone they think about the skill positions, but I do think a lot of coaches know that, and they talk about that. Like the trenches is where it's at. Like when you're moving up levels, like that's where the difference is made, is in that front 5 or that front whatever your front looking like. Like that, it was a real deal, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And then like I mean, I went from going in practice against the starting defense at Ohio State with Nick Bosa and Draymond Jones and like Sam Hubbard and all those guys to going against. So obviously there's a huge difference, but like that's not the DBs are not that big of a difference. Like the safeties aren't that big of a difference. The middle linebackers, like I went against Jerome Baker. He runs a 4.4 as a middle linebacker. That's different than the middle linebackers I'm facing at the PSAC or the FCS level.
That is what we call a mutant. We had one of those on our team this last year, Jake Witt. I don't know if you saw it. He got drafted to the Colts out of Northern Michigan, but we'd always tell him, like, buddy, we don't know what you're doing here. You were made in the lab somewhere, and I think you just got dumped because you have no business being here. You have a couple guys like that. And the thing is, most of those guys end up on teams like Ohio State or, some of those other squads. So it's definitely that's interesting.
I have a receiver that's going to be he'll end up getting drafted next year probably. His name's KB. He's like real deal.
Truth. Okay. I remember that. Talk about the PSAC a little bit though, and something that's I guess is very interesting to me is the depth, because I think when you talk about the GLIAC, our league, you look at you've got Ferris and GV at the top, which are like national contenders every year. And then there's definitely a drop-off. And now you've got Davenport and Saginaw that are kind of making a conversation. But I feel with the PSAC that the depth throughout is a lot stronger than most other conferences in Division II. I mean, you just rattled off a bunch of names of teams that potentially could all be in title contention this year in their respective sides of the division. Was that kind of the thought when you were there as well?
Yeah, the depth is definitely there. Even like the teams that are like not necessarily considered good, like Seton Hill, like no one probably even knows who that is, but like their defense was legit. They only allowed 4 touchdowns all year, but like you're not gonna hear about them because their offense wasn't very good. Like Seton Hill was legit. Westchester was pretty good, but like the reason I think like the transfer portal has made D2 football way better because like there's all those transfer portal players that can't find a Division I spot, they can't find a scholarship spot, so now they're coming down to D2 to get money, and you get more like of a clock. And they're making D2 a lot better. Yeah,
for sure. I do see a lot of that, actually, now that you say that. Like, guys that are only D2 eligible, they'll say, like, on their tweets because their D1 clock has run out. I guess I've just never understood the dynamics of that, not being, like, a D1 guy myself. How exactly does that work?
So, like, at the Division I level, the second you sign, like, your clock starts.
Okay.
At the D2 level, it's only by semesters. So if you take a semester off, you can play the next. Like if you take your spring semester off, and because you're at 11 semesters or whatever,
gotcha.
And you take your spring semester off the next fall, you can play.
Yeah.
So there's like ways around to play more football and stuff like that, and that's kind of like what's happening is like those old heads that are on the transfer portal are kind of transferring down just to get some football in.
Dude, old heads is exactly what they are. We had a wide receiver for a totally different reason. We had a wide receiver 2 years ago that was 27 years old playing on our squad.
That's crazy. We had a guy that went when I was at Ohio State. We had a guy that went and was in the Army, went overseas, came back, and was on our team. He's walking on our team. That's crazy. He was old too. He was like 27, 28. Like, what is going on?
This guy, my guy Yale, I mean, I can name drop him. Yo Van Dyne, he played juniors hockey in Minnesota. And then, so that's like a couple years of obviously your clock doesn't start. You're not even in school and you're just out playing hockey and then ends up getting on the college football scene. Then you've got redshirt and medical years and all this stuff adds up. And then you're a 27-year-old wide receiver. And we used to joke that he was like Bron in the training room after every practice, like iced on the knees and everything like that, bro. He was falling apart. I love it. But if we can stay on PSAC, who's taking it all this year?
That's tough. I mean, like, I'm
It is.
not gonna say my boys. My boys. I know I left. I know that our defense coordinator left. But there's this guy named Nate. He's real deal. He's fast. He can sling it. And then the defense, they just got older. They didn't really lose anybody.
Yeah, not only did they lose the defensive coordinator, he went to Oklahoma State, correct?
Yep.
That is a freaking jump that I don't think enough people talked about. That you never see that happen. Almost never. I shouldn't say never, but
he is like one of 6 people in the whole country that runs the defense that he runs. So he runs like a 3 high safety defense that can roll into anything and like no one else can teach it. So it's an amazing defense. It's hard to go against in practice. Yeah. Mid looks different. But there's just Chris Farnsworth on defense. He's going to be real deal at Gannon. Other than Gannon, though, like, can't really ever count out Slippery Rock or IDP or Shepherd. So. Yeah,
absolutely. We're going to talk about some Shepherd guys later on tonight's show who have been playing in the preseason, so that'll be exciting. Talk about guys like Bajent and Fisher and Ronnie Brown and those kind of guys who made the jump this year. But one of our sponsored athletes from the pod, Bryce Bears, I don't know if you're familiar with that name, coming down from New Mexico State. He's a quarterback that's going over to Gannon. That I know he's pretty excited to be down there. So it'll be good to see, like, hopefully some healthy competition between those two. He's a guy that out of high school, just it sounds like, talking to him, maybe had the coaches told him one thing, ended up being a different piece. And like you said, now is coming back down to the Division II level to get a better shot. And I wouldn't be surprised for that squad to make some noise this year. I'm excited to watch them, man.
Definitely. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I heard about him though. Yeah.
Okay.
He's in camp right now.
Yeah, they are. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but you had tweeted about some potential XFL workouts coming in the months here. Is that need to know basis, or can we know about those?
I'm not allowed to say like who it's with right now.
Okay. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Leave it right at that.
Yeah, but there's a couple that's came along the ranks.
Good. So. Yeah. Don't sound too excited about it, but it's cool.
No, I'm excited about it.
I'm messing with it. No, that's awesome, dude. That's got to feel great too, especially like you said right now. Like, this is the first time that everyone's playing football and you're not, and to be detached like that, all of a sudden it's going to put a new emphasis on like how bad do you want it, right? Like, now you have to work when you don't know if there's something at the end. You might not be working towards something. You have no guarantee. So that's got to feel good to just have something on the schedule, something to work towards.
Definitely. And then it kind of I was kind of getting down about it, honestly.
Yeah, I bet.
And then it just came out of nowhere, so it's just a blessing.
That's great, man.
For sure.
Now, pro day wise, at least I had read it was tough for you to get into one. I know for a lot of guys at this level, it's tough because most D2s don't host them. Now in the GLIAC, we're lucky because we have Grand Valley and Saginaw are both pretty religious in hosting their own pro days, and some other teams around here are. But it sounded like you did get the chance to go to, was it Duquesne's pro day? And then it sounded like you showed out there. So talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, so it's exciting. No one wanted to let me in. Coach State was like, yeah, I'll let you in at Ohio State, but, CJ has his pro day, so I'm not going to go to that one.
Good luck.
Yeah, and then so
hey, here's like, CJ, and then, hey, here's my boy Kory over here. Everyone take a peek at my man.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but, can't do that. And then the Steelers got me into the Duquesne one.
Sweet.
It was an awesome opportunity. I killed it. I did good. Missed one throw, but completed pass, threw the ball 84 yards on one of them. So, yeah, it was exciting.
At those pro days, is there ever a moment, like, everyone loves the fucking clips of, like, the dudes just cocking back and throwing 160 yards. Is there ever a moment where they're like, who's your fastest guy over here? Run down the sideline. I want to see how far this kid can throw a pigskin.
Yeah, no. I was doing my script, and actually, what happened is we told the kid to run a post.
Okay.
And my coach told me to do, because I was like, he was like telling me what footwork to do and everything like that. I was supposed to do a 7-step drop, but he told me to do like the Zach Wilson fake play action, roll out and throw the ball.
Okay.
So that's what I did. Just slung it out there. And then no one was like even, I felt like really paying attention until that point. And then afterwards, they actually asked me to stay afterwards, and 4 teams worked me out afterwards. So
interesting.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it yet, but I've been talking to a couple teams still. It's
good.
like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. And that's something too, like even heading into preseason and things like that, there's still hella moves being made. And the quarterback position is honestly probably one of the least of those, but it still happens. You know what I mean? Especially I think running back might be one of the most prevalent, or obviously offensive linemen and defensive backs are 2 positions that teams can literally never get enough of. And there's so many transactions that get made even at this time of year. But, you know, we know you'll definitely land somewhere. I'm excited to see where that is and hear about those XFL, those undisclosed XFL workouts that are coming here down the pipe shortly. But that's all I got for you, Kory. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, did you get that buck behind you on the wall there? I forgot to ask.
No. That's her Pops.
Okay. Hey,
That's
shout out
turkey,
Pops.
Though.
Okay, that's you in the back?
Turkey. No, that's her. She killed that turkey.
Oh, she did it?
Yeah, my wife did.
Oh, you got to get some up on the wall, man.
I know it.
But seriously, I appreciate you, man. Excited to see where you land.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good one, dude. Appreciate Kory coming on. Had a great time talking to him. Hope to see him making some preseason plays, whether that be next week or next year. Never know. But this time around, we've got some D2 guys that have been making their own noise, respectively, Gavin, in the D2, out of the D2 ranks, I should say, at the NFL level. The first of which is a quarterback who every Division II fan, I feel like, is familiar with, that being Tyson Bagent. He was the Harlan Hill winner back in 2021 from Shepherd University. He's with the Bears. Now, the Bears played 4 quarterbacks in their Week 1 preseason game, and we'll talk about Justin Fields in a little bit and his stat line that was interesting to say in the least. But he was 4 for 5, 37 yards passing, had one pass that definitely didn't break the internet by any means, but really solid, about 20-some yard completion down the sideline, little back shoulder across, and my Twitter was blowing up because I follow all the people that follow him, but. Like pretty strong showing from him. Looked super composed and poised in the pocket. Definitely wasn't I feel like that's the biggest thing for a quarterback from a smaller level school, to go in there and just look poised and to feel confident.
Yeah.
So excited to see what he did. We had Caden Davis, the wide receiver from Northwest Missouri State. He is with the Cardinals, caught a touchdown pass in their preseason game, and that's an easy way to get yourself known. That's a guy who I actually believe was signed to the Broncos initially, and then didn't end up making the cut in Denver, went and played with the USFL with the Panthers, and now is getting another shot in the league with the Cardinals. We hope that this time he sticks around. Love to see that. Gregory Jr., the DB from Ouachita Baptist. He's with the Jaguars right now. Had a forced fumble and a separate fumble recovery in their preseason game. There might not be a bigger defensive play that you can make than doing both of those things. I mean, tackles are great and all, but to prove that you can go and knock the ball out and keep possession for your squad, that's pretty big time. So shout out to Gregory Jr. there. And then Ronnie Brown, another Shepherd guy, running back for the Bucs, and a couple big time carries in Tampa Bay. We'll see if he sticks around with the Buccaneers. And there were 3 Shepherd guys actually that got playing time that I saw. There may have been even more, but Joey Fisher, the offensive lineman from Shepherd, who actually wasn't at the combine, but he had the most bench reps out of anyone in this year's class.
How many?
It was 40.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
It was insane.
Dude, that's like a gym session for me. Oh, yo, that's ridiculous.
And he just did it in one sitting. And then gets up and walks off like it was nothing. But Joey Fisher from Shepherd, playing for the 49ers over at tackle. He got some good snaps in San Francisco, or not in San Francisco, they're on the road. And then finally, Keelan Harris, the wide receiver from Oklahoma Baptist, getting some reps in with the Atlanta Falcons. Just wanted to make sure we shouted out those guys and led the show off with that, because it's just fun to see that these guys are getting those opportunities at the next level, and not only getting them, making the most of it, because obviously they're popping up on my feed, so something had to go on good, bad, or indifferent, right? You made some type of news. Otherwise, though, Week 1 preseason. Justin Fields goes 3 for 3 with like 120 yards and a touchdown or whatever.
Yeah.
And now Bears fans collectively are all on their knees.
It's ridiculous, dude. Like, as a fellow NFC North fan, relax, please. Okay, I saw these record predictions, and if the Bears are below 1, people are losing their minds. Get out of here, dude.
And I love the stat, like, not to be a hater, but the stat of like air yards traveled per ball, like the dump offs, and like, what's so hilarious about preseason to me though, and like I play this game. Preseason is great, like no matter how you spin it, right? Mm-hmm. Because, and Pardon My Take actually was talking about this. I think on one of their more recent episodes, they hit it right on the head, and they talked about how, okay, your team's winning, right? You're doing really well. You're like, hey, we got fucking depth. Yeah. Like, we got dudes who can play, like, at no matter what position. Like, these guys are dealing. We're going to have a lot of great backups. And then you're losing. And then you're like, who gives a shit? These are just these aren't even our starters.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, dude.
It's whatever you want. But I love that. That cracked me up. And then also, like, with the winning and losing, like Baltimore right now has that crazy streak of not losing any preseason games.
It's like 24-0 or something.
It is. I think it's 24. Yeah. It's absurd.
It's
So if your team's winning, you're like, we're like the Ravens. We don't lose in the preseason. That's awesome. But then you're like, oh, our team's losing. Like, okay, well, none of the good teams like win preseason. Like the Chiefs. What the Chiefs do in the preseason?
Yeah, it's just the third
Jack
string.
Shit.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. I think it's just funny because like watching preseason, like as a fan like of a team, you're like, you just pick the best out of whatever the situation is and make that your reality, which is super funny. CJ Stroud is a bust. Stetson Bennett is a dog. And that's that.
Stetson Bennett is a dog. He played extremely well. We love to see that.
CJ Stroud is not a bust, but he did have particularly not great outing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
it's just like first game, and people are overreacting. Anthony Richardson was not perfect.
That's a another one too that, especially the only thing with me with Anthony Richardson is that compared to Stroud, like we weren't hearing everything about Stroud every week. We weren't hearing something about how he was amazing the entire facility.
Yeah.
Whereas Richardson, I feel like there's been word out of their camp just about religiously every week about, oh, he's going to put the league on notice this year. You know what I mean? I feel like we heard so much buzz about that.
Mm-hmm. His interception was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was like not even close.
There's been a notorious amount of buzz around the Colts for the first time in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not like good and bad, right? With the whole Jonathan Taylor situation, and now you talk about Richardson and going into that mix, and then like just what's going on with their ownership and.
Well, yeah. What did Jim Irsay had like a crazy comment like last
He's had
month.
multiple. He's had a few.
Talking about, dude.
He's had a few. I think this is the most that their organization has been talked about in I shouldn't say quite some time, right? Not like it's pretty recent history, but in the past couple of years, this is the most they've been talked about. Not exactly all of it is great PR, but that must be their slogan over there is that anybody talking about us is a good thing. They're sticking with that. But we can talk about this man making the preseason debut. That's Jack Campbell for the Lions. And Jack was as you can see here on the graphic from PFF, 90.6 PFF grade in week 1 of the preseason, the highest among all first-round rookies. Again, what are we going to say? You're saying we got dudes.
Dude.
We got guys.
What an amazing draft already, dude. Cemented himself.
Like Campbell and the boys, they draft. They know how to draft.
They can't miss.
No, they can't. And then if this would have said, hey, Jack Campbell had a 30.6 PFF ranking, we'd be like, he's a rookie. Give him time. He needs time.
It's ridiculous. I love to see this, but it's like we just need to.
It's the same thing with preseason rankings. We just dropped it and we released. We're not going to go over on the show today, but the AFCA initial Division II preseason poll is out now, and I think maybe D3 as well. I'm not sure they do D3, but I posted a graphic about that, and I'm just so sick of preseason rankings. I post them because they get really good engagement and it gets people riled up.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't matter where you start in the rank. It's a preseason. You haven't done anything.
It's just on paper. Like an example of that is like 2019. Michigan State basketball were number 1 in the country.
Yep.
And then from there, it just, and they were never won again. It's just
I remember that year.
Yeah. Preseason rankings, they're great to look at and they're great for interaction. But like really, they
were borderline blacklisted off the polls after that too. Yeah. I feel like they didn't want to get it wrong. You know what I mean? They didn't want to get it wrong again by picking them first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter where you start. doesn't even matter. Like week 1, like it's whatever. Like it's what we finish. Like and nobody cares. But like people get so riled up over preseason rankings. It is funny, but we can talk about the star of the Blindside, right? Let me. I'll pull up the tweet that you put in here. Michael Oher is pursuing some legal action against the family that was depicted in The Blindside, the movie that I'm sure all of us have watched and loved, like one of my favorite football, just classic films. And here's the kind of the headline right here from CNN. It says, former NFL player depicted in The Blindside files to end conservatorship?
Yeah,
conservatorship?
Yeah.
There you go, man. He's filed a petition to end Sean and Leanne Tuohy's conservatorship over him. It's a new word for me. Obviously, I can't fucking say it. Or claims that the Tuohys told him they were going to adopt him, but instead filed a conservatorship. I just butchered it again. I'm saying it too many times now, and I'm messing it up. But yeah, so the difference being that, like, when you read the kind of the fine text of the story, is that they claimed they were going to adopt him. Like didn't they do it in the movie? Yeah. Did they adopt him in the movie?
Yeah, and they
did.
There's like that scene in the dining room, I think, and they're like, "We're gonna adopt you," and sign it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
That shit never happened. They said it was going to. It never did.
Yeah.
So, and then what's also being claimed, if like you read into this, I can click on the article, we'll read a little bit more about it too, but what's also being claimed is that when this movie comes out, their family is profiting obviously a shit ton off of it. Guess how much reportedly, allegedly, that Michael Oher made from it? Zilch.
Big old donut.
Nothing, dude. And if that really is the case, like that's terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. And they the family made, I think it was like $200,000 off the movie, and then 1.5% of all like gross profit from it. And then they donated money to the mom's charity foundation. Or whatever.
Really?
So it's just like, dude.
And the best part is that she got Sandra Bullock to play her weird ass in a movie.
Yeah, win.
That is a win. Sandra's awesome.
Like, yeah, and the conservatorship is so weird because it's like
yeah, I've never heard of that word until today.
It's the same thing that happened to Britney Spears. It's
really
they have somebody overlook your finances because you're deemed like, it's the word is, I think it was like incapacitated or something like that. And he was saying other stuff like, in the movie they portrayed him like an idiot in the beginning.
Absolutely. And they played him off as a big dumbass.
Apparently he was like, that's just not how it rolls. Like I was doing plays in school and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like he couldn't like put together a sentence in the movie.
He got like they show that scene, the teacher has the paper and he got an F. It's like, dude, he got finessed.
That's Hollywood, bro.
That's bad.
It had to be a real underdog story. They had to make him not be able to read so that you would root for this kid.
So you would root for him.
Like, you really think this kid was getting picked on? He was massive.
Dude, how tall was he?
Tall enough.
Yeah,
look at his ass. He's huge.
Football player. Dude. Anybody comes up to bowling him, he can just mow him over. Like, what are they going to do?
A lawyer for the Tuohy family, for Sean and Leanne, his name is Steve Faris. He says, no comment, but they'll be issuing a statement on Tuesday, so that being tomorrow. So when this episode goes live, potentially you can hear from the blonde lady in the sunglasses there smiling and her husband, who allegedly have robbed this guy of a lot of cash.
Dude, that's a smile of someone who just finessed Michael Oher out of mad amounts of cash for that movie, dude. Look at that.
That's what it looks like, just man. That's really what it looks like.
Like, haha, $200K.
That's not a Sandra Bullock ass smile. That's
no, dude.
The shades are crazy.
I can't wait to see the statement that comes out. It's gonna be like, these accusations.
That's wild. So Oher's petition to the court is asking for an order to show cause for failure to meet their required duties to provide regular accountings or to act in the best interest of their ward, Michael J. Oher. He became a ward of the state of Tennessee just before he turned 11 in 1996, soon after beginning living on the streets. That was before he got taken in by the family, most of which people know because the story is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just outlines their whole story here, but it says a quote here of the Tuohys, who took no legal action in juvenile court to assume legal custody of Michael. Invited him over to stay at their house, took him on shopping trips, did those type of things. He's saying maybe it was just a front.
Huh.
Yeah.
That would be dirty, dude.
He was saying that after he moved in with them, that the Tuohys gave him legal papers he thought were necessary for the adoption. Signed where they told him to sign, But when he figured out after he signed it, unknown to him until after February 2023, so he just found out this February, those weren't adoption papers or the equivalent of adoption papers. That's the petition saying, is that they tricked this young boy into thinking that he was being adopted.
Yeah, they didn't explain it. I saw that. They didn't explain it at all. There was like, just sign here.
Just taking advantage of someone, allegedly taking advantage of someone who in that situation was probably just so desperate to have like a family and a home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Have somewhere to go. That's insane.
Man, that's awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
That is really awful.
Kind of ruins the
and then getting into some of the numbers in the movie, like right here, it says around September of 2006, the Tuohys negotiated contracts for the movie The Blindside based on the book and obviously based on Oher's life story for themselves and their 2 children through the Creative Artist Agency to each receive, quote, $225,000 plus 2.5% of all defined net proceeds contingent on Oher signing, Michael Oher. The movie grossed more than $330 million, according to the petition.
Oh, my God.
So, let's see. 330 mil. We're doing math. I got a calculator out.
Cool.
330. That's 6 zeros. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we go times 0.025 is 2.5%. What do you think? What's your guess, dude? How much cash is that?
Yeah, I got a D in math in middle school, so I'm not going to answer this. I'm not going to even attempt, dude.
It's $8.25 million.
Wow. Oh, my. Yo. Yeah.
So, and the thing is, that's not just one thing. It says here to each receive $225,000 plus 2.5%. So take that and multiply it by 4 for the husband and the wife and their 2 children. That's $33 million plus really another $1 million for that initial bonus that they got. They took $34 million off the top. Dude, that's not a small sum.
Dude, highway robbery.
That's like Bonnie and Clyde.
That's bad. That's bad.
That is awful.
I can't wait to see their response. I really can't.
This says, too, there was another contract from April 2007 existing that, quote, let's see, I'm trying to do a little reading. It was signed by Michael Oher. It gave it says, in which Oher gives away his name, likeness, voice, etc. to the movie studio without any payment whatsoever. How was he swindled into all this?
Dude. I guess it's just like, if you don't know what you're signing into, like, it could, dude, if I looked at papers and I was just told to sign them, I'm like, and I don't.
Let's just get it over with,
okay,
yeah.
Well, I don't want to sign my name.
Especially if you trust these people that you're with, right? Especially if you trust them. And he says here, Oher says he thinks the signature on the contract looks similar to his, but he's not sure if it was forged because he said, at the time, or ever, he never willingly or knowingly signed a document that explained he'd be giving away his rights to his name and image, etc. So,
could you imagine they forged his signature?
That would be a twist.
That'd be another level, dude.
There is levels to this shit.
There are levels. Oh
my gosh. So the petition is asking the family basically to provide a sworn accounting of the money belonging to Oher that should have been paid to him beforehand. Yeah, it's
bad news.
It's just wild. The whole thing is crazy news, but we hope that it all gets resolved. And he gets, if this stuff is true, then he gets what he deserves and what he's owed by these people. Again, that's all alleged. There's no ruling on that right now. So that's just the things that are being reported. But what's also being reported in the NFL is that there's some free agent running backs finding some new homes. The first of those being Zeke Elliott. He lands with the Patriots on a 1-year deal. And I won't lie to you, don't get me wrong, I don't know if I should be doing jumping jacks, if you're a Patriots fan right now, but Zeke is not the Zeke that I feel like we kind of grew up
that we
watching.
Once knew.
Not to say he's going to be a terrible back for them. It definitely will help Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield over there and kind of decrease his workload. But Zeke is not the guy to have 15, 20 carries a game. Also, the NFL is not the type of league anymore that's going to give a RB like that 20 carries. It's not how it goes.
It's not like a signing to write home about, but, it's just
no.
Big name. And as you mentioned, his last play as a Dallas Cowboy was getting thrown into the turf.
After he played center for a snap and got absolutely smacked. His 1-year deal with the Patriots reportedly includes a $3 million base salary with a $1 million signing bonus that can be worth up to $6 million with incentives, is what sources told Adam Schefter. At this point in his career, it's not bad. You know what I mean? That's pretty good. Yeah, exactly.
I'll take $6 million.
Well, he's got to hit some. He's probably got to hit some benchmarks. I always wonder how like lofty those incentives are. I'd like to know. Like sometimes those get leaked, and you see a lot of those. You know what I mean? Sometimes you never do. It's kind of interesting. But what's also really cool is like there are some NFL teams out there that you might hear about that like will go out of their way to help guys hit their incentives. I always think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
Like leave him in the game. He needs a couple more catches, and he's going to get paid like $500,000. You know what I mean? Something like I know like Andy Reid was like pretty big on that. Wherever he's been, it's a really cool guy move to do that for your dudes.
Yeah.
The other running back finding home, that is Dalvin Cook, the New York Jets. Not really a big surprise in this one, right? That's been circulating for a little bit, rumored. And what do we think about that?
It's just like, dude, what are they? The Jets are like trying to assemble the Avengers, dude. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Rodgers, Cook.
His deal worth up to $8.6 million. That's what Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero are reporting today. And that's what it says right here, furthering New York's grand aspirations for the 2023 season in progress. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, released by the Vikings in June, and finally got the deal done.
Yeah, the Jets are looking. I don't know what to like. What do you think the record's going to be?
It's a great question. A lot of people thinking really good.
Yeah,
now
I would hope so.
You still gotta. I mean, you think about their division. Their division's not a cakewalk. You know what I mean? Because that's what? Them, Patriots, Bills, and why am I blanking over there?
Dolphins?
Dolphins, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the Dolphins? Yeah, I think it is. That's not a cakewalk to face.
No, it's not.
No. I mean, it runs through Buffalo right now. Miami is poised to have a solid year. You just never know. And New England's never going to be a pushover.
No.
Right? As long as Belichick's there. So now they're talking to Aaron Rodgers. They add their fair share of the former Green Bay Packers, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Billy Turner. I'm like, who? Billy Turner? I haven't heard that name in a while. And now you had said maybe there's the rumors of Devontae wanting to head over there.
I can't remember what the source was, but there was this rumor that a story's going to come out in the next coming weeks that Devontae wants out of L.A. and to the Jets. How are you going to finagle that one?
Salary cap gymnastics, my friend.
It's ridiculous.
Someone's doing it, and they're damn good.
Yeah. Okay. So the Jets. So, like, here's my thing. So they're forming the super team, right?
Yeah.
And in Green Bay, if Aaron messed up, it was fine. Whatever. But, dude, with this team in New York.
And the media that comes with the playing in a very large market.
Be bad. Aaron could mess up a million times in Green Bay, and the beat writers, well, they don't care. They'll just, it's Aaron Rodgers. But once he messes up once in New York, it's torch, dude.
You think so?
Yeah.
There's not much of a grace period.
Oh, it's going to get vicious.
It might. Especially because, I mean, that, like, it comes with the market, right? Like, playing in a large market venue, or city, like that. But also because, there's no long-term, like, what's his deal right now? Is he on a one-year deal?
He's signed through 2025, I think.
Okay, so he's on a couple of years. So, but still, like, they know their window is here. It's not, there ain't no rookie quarterback that you have, like, as a stud. You have a proven guy, but your window at making a real legitimate run at this thing is pretty small.
Yeah, how old is he? Like,
he's damn near 40, I think. Damn near.
Old.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite 40, but he's damn close.
Yeah, he's getting old, and
you
can only squeeze so much juice
out
of the orange.
This is what it feels like is they think their window is right now, and they are doing every single thing possible to make sure they don't miss out on it.
Yeah, it's time to cash in.
Yeah, and it's what's crazy too is when you have like a bunch of teams making these moves, and you're like, "There's no way all of you think this is your window, right?" Like, because you look around the league and kind of just gauge shit. Like, "Hey, we should wait a couple years." Like, it feels like everyone feels like this is their window right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know why that is, but yeah, that's all we've got for today. Make sure to tune into Friday's show. We'll be joined by Trey Vavel from Minnesota State, the defensive back there that made the Shrine 1000 list. Super excited to talk to Trey. But thank you, Kevin. It's been a good one, man. It's been a good one. Pretty brief, but we got some good stuff. Thank you to Kory as well for joining us. And be sure to tune in on the socials. Stay up to date with all things D1 Rejects.